sun is shining brightly in Denver, Colorado, and it's the rubber game between the Colorado Rockies and the St. Louis Cardinals. Along with Rick Horton, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us on this holiday weekend, and happy Memorial Day weekend to everyone. Now let's talk about a little baseball. Wasn't the prettiest of games, obviously, yesterday for the Cardinals, but has a chance to be a very good road trip with a win today.
Yeah, rough day yesterday. Jaime Garcia wasn't good, but you look at the road trip, a lot of positives. Fernando Salas, 3 for 3 in save opportunities. We've seen Daniel Descalso with a lot of late game-winning RBIs, and the Cardinals taking 2 out of 3 in both Kansas City and San Diego, and a chance to do that here today in Denver.
It's a pair of right-handers this afternoon for both St. Louis and Colorado. We'll break down the pitching matchup when we come back. Game 3, St. Louis, Colorado coming up. We're getting set for baseball here this afternoon. The Cardinals and the Rockies, the rubber game, and the two starters today, a pair of right-handers, at times have been very good this year.
Kyle Loesch has been as good as any Cardinal starter. 3 out of his last 4 starts. He's gone 8 innings, so he's going deep into games. He'll try to cool the Colorado bats here this afternoon. Jolise Chassin, the right-hander, is 5-3. Big rookie season for him last year. They're counting on him to pick up some of the slack of the injuries in their rotation.
Going back to last September, his record is 9-3, so he's been very, very good. The greats at first base, Pujols and Helton. A closer look at those two when we come back. Todd Helton and Albert Pujols, 2 of the best first basemen in the National League, are in the lineup this afternoon. They are also 2 of the best students of the game. Here's a look.
Into center field, going back, gone!
And this ball's got a chance to tie things up. See you later, Todd's done it again. Deep right field. Get up and get out. Helton has done it. The Rockies win it.
Swing and a miss. The Cardinals are world champions for 2006.
Tulowitzki has it close to first.
Just an absolutely gorgeous afternoon for baseball here in Denver. The first pitch was taken for a ball by Theriot, and that pitch, obviously, ball number 2. Numbers on Chassin so far this year.
Opponent's batting average is .203, which means he can dominate at times. .309 earned run average is also good.
He is only 23 from Venezuela, and there's a strike, 2 balls and 1 strike.
He set a rookie strikeout record for the Rockies last year with 138 strikeouts, so he knows how to pick up the strikeout. And we talked about in the pregame, Dan, he's going to be really relied on this team with the injuries they've had.
It's now a 12-game hitting streak for Ryan Theriot. Base hit into right center to start the game. A look at Tony La Russa's lineup here this afternoon with Theriot, then Jay and Pujols, Berkman, Alan Craig, Colby Rasmus, Yadier Molina, Daniel Descalso, and the pitcher Kyle Loesch. That's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Tony La Russa saying before the game he does not want to take any chances with Matt Holliday, and hopefully he could play tomorrow or at least early in the San Francisco series.
I think it's smart. I think you do not want to risk having him injured again and having another setback.
Hit and run was on, and that's knocked out of play.
And we've talked, Dan, I think that decision's a little easier the way Jon Jay's been playing. Jon Jay has been outstanding. .350 batting average. Seems very comfortable in the second spot in the order here. A hit and run there with Theriot. Cardinals had big offense on Friday. The Rockies' big offense yesterday. I guess it's Cardinals' turn.
0-1 pitch to John Jay with Pujols on deck. Catches the outside corner. You wonder with the holiday situation if Tony La Russa and John Mozeliak would have done it differently, knowing that this was going to linger. Would you put him on the disabled list and get yourself an able body to play defense?
Always a hard decision to make with a star player. Do you DL him or not, because you are absolutely committing to not having him for 15 days.
Right.
So you go 4 or 5 days and you hope and you try to determine, well, do I think he's going to be ready in 5? Then I'll go ahead and not put him on the disabled list. But if he gets any kind of setbacks, then yeah, you might have been better off DLing him in the first place. But again, the Cardinals have gone to one less pitcher. They have more players on their bench, so I'm not sure the need was that critical.
The 1-2 pitch instead of check on Ontario. Very short lead at first as Holiday is available again to pinch hit. He pinch hit on Friday night. He walked what clearly was an intentional walk situation, and then he lined out to center in the ball game yesterday. The 1-2 pitch to John Jay. Taken for a ball outside. Vic Carapazza is our home plate umpire. Paul Nart is at first. Doug Eddings at second, and the crew chief, long day for him behind the plate yesterday. That's Kerwin Danley, and he's at third. 2 balls and 2 strikes on John Jay. Awfully concerned with Terrio here in the first inning.
Maybe another good count to send Terrio 2-2. Pitcher wants to throw a strike here. He doesn't want to go 3-2 on John Jay, so you're going to get a strike. Not bad to think about a hit and run here. Terrio's lead pretty good.
The 2-2 not running, and Jay hits it out to deep right field. At the track, it's at the wall, and it's off the top of the wall, and a home run. It's a home run and a 2-0 lead for St. Louis. John Jay put a charge into that. His 4th home run. And Jay on this road trip is now 17 for 38.
So much for the hit and run. That's a hit and go ahead and jog around the bases. Hit and jog's even better. Occasional power from John Jay from the left side. This ball up, kind of a hanger, 83 miles an hour. Didn't do much. But it sure did a lot off the bat of John Jay. How about that? Good start for the Cardinals.
So that's a yellow line that they have at the top of that wall in right field. And you may be wondering, well, wait a minute, it bounced back in. But if it's over the yellow line, which clearly it was, and bounces back in, that's a home run. And that was Paul Nart, the first base umpire, that immediately started saying it was a home run. One ball, 1 strike. Now there is video replay in baseball certain times on plays like that. But Paul Nart, and no argument from Jim Tracy. He said clearly that was a home run.
Yeah, and I think you would have heard something from Ryan Spilborghs, a right fielder, too, who had a pretty good view of it.
And Pujols pulls it foul. Matter of fact, Spilborghs, a little surprising. He did try to just sell it and throw it back into the infield. He threw it right back into the stands.
Well, a lot of times you'll hear an argument from the fans in the area, too, who know exactly where the ball hit because it hit at their feet. In this case, I think not an issue, but it is a question, Dan, whether or not it's reviewable the other way, whether or not a home run can be called back or not.
And Pujols did go on the check swing. They don't appeal. It's a strikeout of Albert. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively in the top half of the National League. Gonzalez, Fowler, and Spilborghs in the outfield. Wigginton, Tulowitzki, Young, and Helton along the infield. And the battery is Shashin and Iannetta. The Rockies have turned 53 double plays after 2 more turned in the ballgame yesterday. That's most in the National League along with San Diego. And they've committed just 26 errors. Here's the league's top hitter average-wise, and that's Lance Berkman, who's batting .356.
The Rockies turn him and the Cardinals hit into him. Cardinals have hit into 67 double plays. The next highest team, Pittsburgh Pirates, in the mid-40s. part of this Cardinal offense. A lot of guys on base, a lot of double plays.
16 of those come off the bat of Pujols. He's had a lot of balls on the ground this year. That's taken for a ball.
When Albert's right, he hits line drives everywhere. A lot of
2-1.
ground balls, particularly to the left side, that he's just rolled over a bit. Still searching for the right timing, but it will come.
2-2. Full count. Alan Craig is on deck. That's taken inside by Berkman. So 3 of the 4 have reached against the right-hander. A single, a home run, and now a walk.
And there's the slider from Shashin. He throws a 3-2 slider. And this one kind of backs up a little bit, doesn't really break at all. In fact, goes the opposite direction. And through the slider, 3-2 means he has confidence in his off-speed pitch, which, of course, if you're going to pitch at this level, you need to have it.
Now it's Alan Craig, who's at second base again today. Cardinals with the situation with Skip Schumacher. You see Craig at second base again. He's 3 for 5 in this series. And Skip will tell you his timing is just not quite there. You know, he missed, what, 5 or 6 weeks and then had just a handful of bats in the minor leagues. So very tough to come back at this level and feel that your timing is going to be right.
Yeah, it's a little bit like a high wire act guy saying, you know, my timing's not right. Well, go ahead and go up on the wire and try to get your balance straight. Well, I mean, you don't really want to get your balance straight in that situation. Big league level is the same problem. You're facing nasty pitchers who are a challenge. I mean, anybody pitching at this level has electric stuff. We say this guy's got better stuff than that guy, but all these guys throw hard.
Sure.
And so for Schumacher to try to get his timing figured out at this level is not a simple task.
There's a punch out of Alan Craig. Much tighter that time with the breaking ball.
Much tighter, late break. Fools Alan Craig, who's also having a good offensive season.
And it brings in Colby Rasmus.
More like a cutter. That ball didn't break a whole lot, just broke at the last minute. I think fooled Allen.
Colby, a big game in game 1. With the 2 triples, couple of runs. 2-0 St. Louis lead. Rasmus looks at his strike. He told us following the game on Friday, hands back a little bit further. The adjustment that he made, he was 1 for his last 25 prior to that game on Friday. And he said just swing hard and try to get out of it. That simple for him.
And you get out of it, you get to talk to Mr. Dan on the postgame show.
Tulowitzki won't get to that one. And what Rick is saying is that if you are Jim Hayes, you're Mr. Jim.
That's right.
If
I'm
you're
Mr. Rick.
Mr. Rick. And I'm Mr. Dan.
You are Mr. Dan.
We get a kick out of it.
He actually said that in the interview you did with him on the field after the game. I just thought that was funny.
He always says it. So I'm just used to it now.
Very respectful.
Making me feel old.
He's just being Southern, that's all.
Runners at first and second for Yadier Molina. That pitch is taken low and away. Well, the Rockies really got, no pun intended, a shot in the arm from Juan Nicasio yesterday. Second Rockies pitcher to make his major league debut, and did a very good job. And again, it goes back from a St. Louis perspective of lack of video and not seeing the guy throw at this level. 1-0 pitch.
Well, you get the matchup of Nicasio and Jaime Garcia, and you'd say advantage Cardinals, but the disadvantage is just what you said. They didn't really understand how he was going to attack him, and he did a very creditable job. Big jump from Double-A to the big leagues. I know Bob Apodaca was very pleased with his pitcher, and he knows how important it is to get good starts. With De La Rosa out, Aaron Cook hasn't been available all season. And their big gun, Ubaldo Jimenez, who pitched in Game 1, is just not right.
And on the other side, Tony La Russa describing the Garcia situation as an impossible one for him. And one of the reasons that he said that was there was no off day tomorrow. You've got the Giants coming up trying to extend his starter. Unfortunately, Garcia walks away with 11 earned runs. That's up the middle. Base hit. Here comes Berkman to make it 3-0. 2-out RBI for Yadier Molina, his 24th of the season, and it's 3-0 St. Louis.
Walks come back to get you. Lance Berkman works a 3-2 count into a walk, ends up scoring on Molina's base hit up the middle. Credit Colby Rasmus for keeping the inning alive. Diving attempt by a very good shortstop.
It's 2 ground balls just out of the reach of Tulowitzki, who is 6'4" and has good range.
You, Dan, talking about the impossible situation that Tony La Russa was in yesterday, and I recognize how impossible it is. I'm still not sure. I think it was the right thing to leave him in as long as they did. I would have rather seen Tyler Green pitch the 7th and 8th inning of a 15-2 game, and if it came to that, then have Jaime Garcia go out and just get hammered for as long as he did. He was in a funk. He was tired. He was gassed. He wasn't right. And then he just kept repeating the same motion and the same delivery for 100 or so pitches. And now he wakes up in the morning and his ERA has gone through the roof, and tough adjustment for him.
Here's Descalso, who's 2 for 9 with a double. Filling in for the injured David Freese. For those that didn't have a chance to watch the game yesterday, Bob Apodaca was mic'd up for sound, and we're going to play some of that for you here today. We've had permission from the Rockies and Major League Baseball to do so. And it's always fun to hear some of those conversations between a coach and a player.
After they're edited.
After they're edited. In this case, we didn't need to edit.
No.
Very clean. It does give you an idea. Some of those conversations that do take place, and some of those are very direct and straightforward. There's a strike to Descalso with Kyle Loesch on deck.
One of my favorite ones was Tommy Lasorda coming out to Jesse Orozco with a 3-0 count during the playoffs, playing with the Dodgers, and he screamed. Everybody, 50,000 people in Shea Stadium heard Tony La Russa say, "You better throw a strike." Tommy Lasorda, excuse me. I get those two confused. But Tommy was not afraid to be direct every once in a while. I mean, we were trying not to laugh. It was kind of funny.
You were laughing because it wasn't you out there.
All he said was, "Can you throw a strike?" And then he said, "Then throw a strike," with some other adjectives. And then he kind of ran off the mound.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Got him. Strikes out the side, but a big inning for the Cardinals. They pick up 4 hits and 3 runs. Loesch to work when we come back. 3-0 in favor of St. Louis as we move to the Rockies half of the first here at Coors Field. Southwest Airlines starting lineup with Young, Fowler, and Gonzalez, followed by Tulowitzki, Helton, and Wigginton, Spilborghs, Iannetta, and Shashin. And they'll get Kyle Loesch, the Cardinal right-hander, today.
What you've liked most about Kyle Loesch in his last 4 starts is that he's gone 8 innings in 3 of them. Been very durable, been very sharp, perfect location, and a good start.
As we saw yesterday, the Rockies with very good speed at the top of their lineup with EY Jr. here, and then Dexter Fowler. Eric Young Jr. at second base, and in this series alone he's played center field, second, and left field, trying to find him a position.
Well, I think he's also a little bit of a wake-up call to the rest of the Rockies lineup, particularly Dexter Fowler, who was the leadoff batter, saying, look, we've got to find a way to get our leadoff guy on without striking out as much. Fowler now in the second spot, which may not be bad for him. Gives you a lot of speed at the top for the Rockies.
And a strikeout to start the game. The tag applied by Yadier Molina. And a look at the Cardinals defense here this afternoon. The 4th most errors in the National League. This is presented by Dobbs. And the battery today, Loesch and Molina.
Defense has been better of late, though. I know that miscue by Terrio hurt Jaime Garcia yesterday, and it does seem like when the Cardinals defense is not perfect, that it does affect our pitching staff, maybe more than it should. But I do think the defense is better than it was a month ago. In some ways,
strikes.
In some ways, Daniel Descalso has a lot to do with that. He's solidified the third base position. Been very smooth.
1 ball and 2 strikes. That's not to take anything away from David Freese. Freese is what Tony La Russa described as an above average third baseman for this level. Pair of strikeouts to start the game for Kyle Loesch. Our Toyota keys to the game. Teams with 30+ games on the road this year, and the Cardinals have the most road wins in baseball. 17 wins so far away from Busch Stadium.
Yeah, a couple of those teams really struggling. The White Sox and the Twins. You look at the Twins as a club that should have been contending and may still contend in the American League Central, but all the games on the road have been very, very tough on them. Cardinals have been a good road team and a good home team.
In the air out to center off the bat of Carlos Gonzalez. Rasmus puts it away. Good start for Kyle Loesch, and he'll lead it off when we come back. Baseball brought to you by Bud Light Lime, the just right taste of Bud Light with the refreshing splash of 100% natural lime flavor. By Chevy, see your Mid-America Chevy dealers. By Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards. By Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 in quality tires and expert auto service. A strike to Kyle Loesch. Leading off here in the second inning, the Cardinals with a 3-run lead. Loesch, a ground ball to third. Ty Wigginton, 1 away. Back to the top of the lineup, and Ryan Terrio. The Cardinals start play this afternoon, first in the league with an average of .285.
Offense has been very good, off to a good start today, and we hope you're enjoying your Memorial Day celebration and remembrance today. And I know, Dan, you said it at the top of the show, but just want to express it as well, how much we appreciate the service, past and present, of our veterans. And very important day for us to celebrate as a nation. And I know many people, this is kind of a melancholy day in some ways, but we hope that this game will be part of the joy of your Memorial weekend.
Military Appreciation Day here at Coors Field. Purple Heart recipients on the field before the game. Talk about some heroes and some guts. Goodness gracious, those folks that were out there, wow.
And great applause here from the fans at the ballpark for those men and women who served so well and so diligently, so selflessly.
3 balls, 1 strike on Terrio, who's extended his hitting streak here today. That's hit out of play and foul. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out, nobody on.
Somewhat fitting, Dan, that we're in Denver too. Denver is the home of the service award that's giving out given out to the baseball player throughout major leagues who has the best community service, the Branch Rickey Award. Ozzie Smith, a past winner of that. They have a statue out front commemorating that.
3-2, hammered out to left. Gonzalez, though, is there. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers, #1 in quality tires and expert auto service, and by Steak and Shake. Life needs flavor.
And the Branch Rickey statue right outside the ballpark here. It's called The Player. Again, the Rotary Club of Denver gives the award out to a major league player who best exemplifies community service. And the inscription, Dan, I read it on the way into the ballpark today. It says, "It's not the honor that you leave with, but it's the heritage you leave behind." And that's the inscription, Branch Rickey's words, on that statue to epitomize what the real baseball player ought to be all about. I just thought it was pretty kind of moving statue out front of the ballpark here, and very appropriate for Memorial Day.
It catches the corner, 1-2 on John Jay, who is homer to right. Ooh, just missed on the inside corner. Think about Branch Rickey and the impact that he made on this game. Incredible.
Created the minor leagues. One of the things that he did, but of course most importantly, helped break the color barrier, bringing Jackie Robinson to the big leagues. And he has, of course, great ties to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Right.
And a big part of St. Louis Cardinal history.
The 3-2 pitch to Jay on the outside corner. That's 4 strikeouts for Shashin. Troy Tulowitzki due up first when we come back. Well, this afternoon, Fox Sports Midwest is televising both this game and Big 12 baseball. You'll find the Big 12 game on Fox Sports Midwest secondary channel. Go to foxsportsmidwest.com to find channel listings in your area. Tulowitzki out to left, and the catch made on the run by John Jay. Fine play off the bat of Tulowitzki by John Jay.
He's been a very good outfielder, running good routes, showing good hands. Kyle Loesch gets one out with one pitch against a very tough hitter, but took a lot of effort from John Jay to make that an out. Ball was hit right on the nose.
Now Todd Helton. Loesch early on. I know it's only 4 hitters, but he does look sharp.
He looks very sharp, particularly with his breaking ball. And a lot of people talk about the high altitude being very difficult to throw a good slider, but he doesn't seem to be having any trouble whatsoever. He's very much locked in.
He's never won at this ballpark. 0-3 here at Coors Field is Kyle Loesch. Helton pops it, fouling out of play.
Loesch is sneaky fast, too. That last pitch was just 89 miles an hour on the gun here in the ballpark, but it was by Todd Helton. Nice smooth delivery.
The bottom dropped out of that pitch.
Follows it up with a good changeup.
It's 3 strikeouts in the first 5 he's seen.
And this is one of the best hitters in the last decade, way out in front. Todd Helton, an outstanding career. Perfect changeup from Loesch. It's been a bit of a difference maker for him. Not just the slider, but his changeup. He's had great command of it. He's used it a lot, gotten a lot of outs with it.
Ty Wigginton. Wigginton hitting .238. 3 home runs. He's driven in 13. 2 for 7 in this series. Both those hits yesterday. The 1-1 pitch. Hit out to deep right field. Berkman on the move. He won't get it, over his head and off the wall. And Wigginton is in with a stand-up double. This is where the damage was done against the Cardinals in the ballgame yesterday. Ryan Spilborghs and Chris Iannetta, 7 and 8 hitters in the Rockies lineup. They drove in 10 yesterday. First time since '06 a National League team had 10 or more RBIs from their 7th or 8th place hitters.
And they also have some pop in that bottom part of the order as well. Iannetta, Cardinal fans remember last year, a home run he hit. Also yesterday was playing long ball and batting in the 8th spot. To have that kind of home run potential is pretty good. And that's not the ballpark speaking. I mean, he hit some bombs. Spilborgh's with just 2 home runs on the season, more of a gap hitter. And like a lot of Rockies hitters trying to figure out his stroke.
Good pitch. Milwaukee in the 6th inning is leading their ball game by the score of 3-0 over San Francisco. Yovani Gallardo, 1 hit through 6 innings and has retired the last 13 he's seen. They start 2.5 back of St. Louis today, and the Giants a half game in front of Arizona in the West. Think about San Francisco. Seems like anybody they throw has a chance or potential to throw a no-hitter.
Absolutely.
But yet they're one of those teams that you say you could throw a no-hitter against them. Here's a ground ball to the right side. Pujols to Loesch, and Albert will lead it off as we head to the 3rd. The Cardinals picked up 3 runs in the 1st. That's the difference so far in the game. Cardinals alumni kids clinics, boys and girls ages 7 to 13 can learn baseball fundamentals from former Cardinal greats like yourself. You're on the promo. Rick Horton,
see that.
Kerry Robinson, John Mabry.
It says great there. I'm reading it.
Greats.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, greats. Kerry Robinson, John Mabry, other former Cardinals. Scott Terry does a great job of running those clinics. He's the mastermind behind them.
And not just for boys, but girls as well, ages 7 to 13.
Cardinals.com/clinics.
Here's Pujols, who struck out on a check swing his first time up.
They are fun, I must admit.
Shashin has struck out 4. Pujols taps it foul. Kerry Robinson, by the way, is now working as a scout for the Cardinals. One of the more famous home runs in recent Cardinals Cubs history. Walk-off homer, the old Busch Stadium. Pujols to 3rd. Wigginton makes the play.
Shashin's able to get Albert Pujols. His big pitch so far this afternoon has been the breaking ball, particularly with 2 strikes. He gets Alan Craig with a 3-2 pitch. He gets Descalso with a 3-2 pitch looking, and John Jay, same thing. Actually, that a little bit of a fastball had less break on. He's got kind of a cutter that hitters are giving up on. So Cardinals really not quite sure how to hit him yet.
Here's Lance Berkman. Berkman walked his first time up, scored a run, leads a league in on-base percentage and average. His average at .356, just ahead of Matt Holliday. The question becomes, Rick, can he continue, maybe not at this pace, but he can, can he continue at, say, at a .310, .315 average pace?
And that's all you really need. I mean, what he's done has been ridiculous. .350, leading the National League. I mean, I really don't know anybody, including Lance Berkman, who saw that coming. I think the comment that I made about him is he might hit .320, he might hit .220. And I really didn't know what we were getting with Lance Berkman, and I'm not sure he did either. But to think we were going to get .350, that's a bit of a stretch. He still seems to be showing no signs of getting tired, worn out. There's your National League batting leaders. Holliday 2nd, Joey Votto 3rd behind Berkman. And he does something he does very, very well, Dan. Get the walk, get on base. One of the top on-base percentage guys in the game of baseball over the last 20 years.
Follow the Cardinals with MLB.com at Bat 11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Just visit Cardinals.com for details. Here is Alan Craig with a runner at first. Short lead by Berkman. This Coors Field is really filled up. Broken bat out at second. And a double play. They've now turned 54 this year to lead the National League. Cardinals baseball brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill at Lumiere Casino. It's now open, a sports bar for everyone. And for all the reasons you invest, mutual funds from Goldman Sachs. There's extra bases off the bat of Chris Iannetta, making the turn around first into second, and not in time. Reading those billboards, you saw the Red Rocks Amphitheater in Morrison, Colorado. Numerous acts have played there over the years.
First pitch swinging again. The Rockies did it last inning. Tulowitzki lined out this time. A double into the corner. John Jay does a great job of running it down, making it a close play at second base.
And time is called. Pujols is playing in along with Descalso, and Pujols wants to talk with Loesch how they want to play this.
There's a location on the double by Iannetta, down and in. Nothing wrong with that location. First pitch swinging. He's rewarded. Aggressive bunt defense going on right now for the Cardinals. They love to do this. Shashin 091 at the plate. You wouldn't think he'd be a threat to hit. You know he's bunting, so they are just right on top of him. Descalso on the left side. He's charging hard. Pujols on the right.
And Ricky, and also an aspect of this, not great speed at second base. They're trying to keep him a little bit closer than normal, too.
It can be very difficult to get this bunt down successfully.
Looked like he might have wanted to swing away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
So you can keep him close at second base. Either the second baseman or the shortstop has to keep him close. The second baseman needs to cover first, and the shortstop needs to cover third. So both of them have a job to do. They're trying to keep him fairly close, but they're cheating towards the base, and he's going to be out at third.
Oh, he may have had him. Now he goes to first and just got him by a step. What do you think? He would have had him?
I think he would have had him, but I think the problem is Theriot didn't cover third. I don't know why he stopped. Daniel Descalso had to run back. It would have been a bang-bang play as it was. Yeah, he'd have had a shot at him. But the problem is Theriot starts to creep back towards second, and he didn't get a good jump, so Descalso has to come back. And I'm not even sure he was out at first. That was a close play there.
So the sacrifice is good. Here is Eric Young. Infield has to play in with him. The threat of a bunt, which he can beat it out. We've seen his speed on display in this series.
I don't like the idea of playing the infield too far in. You've got a 3-0 lead.
In the air, out to left. John Jay under it, gets himself in position to throw. To the plate it comes. Iannetta will score. And the Rockies get on the board. It's 3-1. RBI is number 2 for Eric Young in this series.
Well, you got a slap hitter that normally wants to just put the ball on the ground, but you force him by playing the infield halfway in to try to hit the ball in the air, and he gets the job done. Really not his forte is driving the ball to the outfield, but he gets it done here.
Now Dexter Fowler, who struck out first time up. Ground ball to the right side. The Rockies get on the board. The RBI for EY Jr. Rasmus, Molina, Descalso coming up. It's 3-1 as we head to the 4th. If you have a question for us, log on to carsoup.com/Cardinals and send us your email to booth questions. Along with Rick Horton today, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Be John Kelly and Al Raboski on the postgame show as Rasmus pulls it foul for strike 1. We all know that John is a top hockey broadcaster. His dad is in the Hall of Fame, and his dad used to do some Cardinal baseball on the radio. 0-1 pitch, and he was awfully good at that too.
The poor guy has to work with Mike Matheny today. He's so hard to get along with, as you know, Dan.
Yeah, really tough. And then you get a very kind and Gentleman and Al coming in on the postgame. The 1-1 pitch. Taken for a strike.
There's a late break on the cutter again from Chacin. Cardinal hitters just giving up on some pitches here. They looked like they had him figured out early on, but he's settled down after the base hit to Molina in the first inning, and he's gotten much, much sharper.
2-2.
And Dan, you know this is Military Appreciation Day, but you know what other day it is today, don't you? It's multiplied times 3 day. Game 54 of the season. Kind of a benchmark time.
In the air, deep right field. That ball is gone. Colby Rasmus. What a series he's had, and he's 2 for 2 today. The Cardinals' second home run to right field, the other by John Jay. And that makes it 4-1. The Cardinals get one back. Colby had to interrupt you.
Yeah, so much for being settled in. Chacin makes a mistake, and Rasmus, normally a low ball hitter, this pitch is up. Middle in, and he just turns on it, and that's his 4th home run of the season. And a third of the way in, that means 12 home run pace. That's the multiply times 3.
One-zero pitch to Yadier Molina.
So Kyle Loesch with a win today would be 7-2, on pace to be a 20-game winner. And you start to get some perspective, Dan, of what kind of season some of these guys are having in terms of their RBIs and their wins, home runs.
2-1 the count. And a ground ball that's hit to short. Tulowitzki, little hesitation, then fires it to first. If you have a car and love baseball, then don't miss discounted Cardinals tickets from Phillips 66 Gas when you fill up with 10 gallons or more. For complete details, stop by your local station or visit cardinals.com/Phillips66. So on the postgame, John Kelly, Al Raboski, Max Linewan, the producer, working on this holiday weekend. John did a great job on the pregame, and he'll be with you on the post. And I hope he puts Hungo in his place. Everyone, you just got to nudge Hungo.
Be careful where you nudge him.
That's right.
And you would hope they have something good to talk about. Nice Cardinal victory.
If you win today, this is a heck of a 10-day, 9-game road trip.
You're happy if you win 2 out of 3 at home, but you're really happy if you win 2 out of 3 on the road.
3-1. Back home tomorrow, 3:15 with our first pitch. Six Flags Day. If you're thinking about coming to the ballpark, dynamic deals with $9 terrace level seats and $18 bleacher seats tomorrow. And also kids get a free ticket to Six Flags. Pretty good deal. There's that high strike on Descalso. He didn't like the first at bat, which he was called out on strikes. Question a couple of those pitches.
D-Money, Mr. Close and Late.
3-2 pitch on its way. You wonder if one of those swings right there, he's just trying to protect the plate because he's unsure about the strike zone.
Yeah, that's part of it. And there's also an indication that maybe he's just not seeing the ball very well out of the hand of Chacin. Some pitchers, you just have a harder time seeing the ball, picking it up out of the hand. I mean, somebody on your team might not, but you might. You're just looking somewhere else. You just don't see it that well.
Couple of hops to short. And Tulowitzki puts it away. He's the kind of guy, and watching Tulowitzki, he'll take an extra second or two and then show off that gun and get you right at the last step. One of the best arms we've ever seen at shortstop. Sean Dunston, a guy that you played against.
It reminds me of Sean Dunston in a lot of ways, because I was just thinking about him when you said that, to kind of hold back and then just show off his arm. Sean loved showing off his arm. Played some outfield later in his career. But what a great arm as a shortstop. Gary Templeton had a good arm at short.
One pitch. 1-2. Colby Rasmus, his 4th home run of the season and first since April 20th. The 1-2 to Kyle Loesch. A check swing, and he went. A strikeout. And that's 5 this afternoon for Shisheen, but he's given up a couple of home runs, the latest to Rasmus. Redbirds on top. Oh yeah, you gotta love this. Matt Holliday a week ago crushing that home run into the water in Kansas City. A look at some of the home runs in this road trip. Alan Craig, another one. How about Albert Pujols, first in 105 at-bats at San Diego. John Jay here today, going deep to right. Colby Rasmus has as well.
Love to hear the crack of the bat. Cardinal team very balanced this year in terms of power and average, and good starting pitching. Mark McGwire last year, Dan, a lot of heat for a team that maybe did not perform as well offensively as many thought they would. This year, probably not getting enough credit.
I guess he just got smarter. Kyle McClellan, you talk about pitching, he's going tomorrow. 6-1 with a 3.11 ERA. Madison Bumgarner 1-6. Here's a ground ball. Pujols to Kyle Loesch. And Carlos Gonzalez is 0 for 2, last year's batting champion. June 3rd, you can bring the family to Busch Stadium. It's Merrimack Caverns night. All kids 15 and under receive a coupon good for one admission for a Merrimack Caverns Cape Tour and boat ride. Maybe hot outside, but always a cool 60 degrees inside the cave.
Loesch is throwing nearly 80% strikes through 3 1/3 inning. 70% is very good. 80% is off the charts good. And another one.
.32 total, 24 have been strikes. Tulowitzki takes a ball outside. His dad, Troy Tulowitzki's dad, made a living by driving a truck, and when Troy signed his 7-year, $134 million extension, he called up his dad Ken and said, "Those days are over. You can retire now," as Loesch will put this away. Rick, did you play with guys that had to get away from the game? I mean, you almost had to be that third party to step in and tell him, look, you're too close to the game right now. You need to get away, do something just to get your mind off of what you're doing here at the ballpark.
Yeah, you end up putting a lot of pressure on yourself. You know, think about the stress of this game. Most of it is internal. You know, you can ignore the things that you read and hear, and you know, even at the ballpark, you can kind of filter in and out with the fans. If you're getting booed or, you know, you're getting yelled at, you just kind of filter that out. But it's the pressure you put on yourself that you have to manage, and there are times where you do have to get away. Go play golf, go fishing. You know, Whitey Herzog was big on almost making guys go fishing once a homestand. Get up at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, go fishing, come back, take a nap. You'll be a relaxed player, and you'll be a better player.
Ground ball to second, so good inning here by Loesch. Gonzalez, Tulowitzki, and Helton all go down. Top of the lineup coming up for the Birds. We had Bob Apodaca mic'd up for sound in the ball game yesterday, and here he is talking to his reliever Reynolds, who was trying to get one of the Cardinals out.
Yeah. It's got to be down. That's right. So we just got to fix what's causing us to be up in the strike zone. It's over the rubber. It's over the rubber right here, okay? So look right here, he's a low ball hitter, middle and in. Yep. So your cutter will be good in on him. Your curveball will be good on him. Our fastball, we got to be able to get away. Yep. Okay? Come on. Let's get one pitch. Let's get turn 2 right here. Yeah. Know who you got.
And that's a great look into a conversation with the pitching coach and the pitcher. Gives them just a little bit of mechanics. It's over the rubber. What he's saying, not wordy about it, but what he's saying is you're getting too far out front. That's why your arm is dragging and the ball is up. But all he's got to do is give him that little phrase, and the pitcher knows what he's saying. Then he says, your pitch will be good here. This is his strength, but your pitch will be good here. All those things, very positive things coming from a pitching coach. I think that's just a great look inside what kind of conversations happen on a ball field, particularly that conversation with your pitcher who's under some stress.
And I'm sure a lot of fans are wondering, well, what's the Cardinal hitter they're talking about? We cannot give out his name. That's part of the strategy and allowing us to air that. Very kind of Bob to allowing us to mic him up for the ball game yesterday, and we aired a few other sound bites as well. But you're right, Rick. I mean, it's almost like to try to equate it to a golf swing, I guess. If you have too many thoughts, it's counterproductive. Just give him that one thought to try to get back on track.
So in a few words, he said some basic things. Mechanics, stay back over the rubber. That's why you're up in the zone. Reminding him of the scouting report of the hitter and reminding him of what he does best. All three of those things done pretty clearly, also pretty calmly, and you could almost sense the demeanor of a teacher. You could think of him being in a classroom, explaining very calmly how to get something done or how to do something right. And I just think that's just a really a great opportunity we've had to see that.
Strikeout of Theriot, 6 on the afternoon for Shashin. Brings in John Jay, who was homered and struck out.
Location matters, but if you've got good break, you can get away with it. That pitch right in the heart of the plate, but good sharp break takes care of Theriot. And 6 strikeouts. Pretty impressive.
John Jay now hitting .408 in May, the highest in the National League among outfielders, and second only to Matt Joyce of Tampa Bay, who's at .429.
Let's give John Jay some credit. 3 or 4 weeks ago, wasn't playing very much, was pinch hitting occasionally, not even really doing a great job of pinch hitting. Timing was off a bit, but he kept saying, I'm going to stay ready to play. I want to play, but I'll be ready to play when I'm needed. He wasn't whining, wasn't complaining, he was working. Then the opportunity comes and he takes advantage of it. And then once that happens, guess what? You get to play some more.
Right. On base percentage has jumped to .416 for John Jay. Always a crucial thing for Tony La Russa to look at guys that can get on in front of the big three. The 2-2 pitch. Here's what you're talking about. And the 3-2 pitch to Jay. Bounces it off the plate. Shashin underhands to Helton for the out. Here's Pujols, who is 0 for 2. So taking that theory of ×3, right now Albert Pujols would be looking at roughly 24 home runs,
84 RBI.
Yeah, and a .262 average. I just don't see that happening. I don't know about you.
No, that's a good season for most players. It's not a good season for Albert, and it's not, I don't think, where his numbers will end up. Of course, if he hits 2 home runs today,
changes everything.
Changes the math.
Right.
And Albert has a way of changing the math in a hurry, too. When he gets hot, I mean, he's as hot as anybody. A lot like Tulowitzki. I bet Tulowitzki doesn't hit .251 either.
How about Carlos Gonzalez, too?
Gonzalez, I'm not so sure about. I mean, I think he's a great player, don't get me wrong. But Tulowitzki, I just know how hot he can get.
He had 15 home runs and 40 RBIs in the month of September last year. Is that a case that pitch is that good, or are we seeing Pujols pull off a lot of pitches?
Well, that was a pretty good pitch, and he was off it a bit.
The 1-2. Gets underneath it, and a high fly ball into center.
That pitch was more hittable.
Albert is 0 for 3. Midway through 5, and it's 4-1. What's on tap? And it's Kyle McClellan tomorrow trying to go to 7-1. And that game will be seen on Fox Sports Midwest at 3:15. What's on tap is brought to you by Budweiser. Wigginton, a swinging bunt here. Tough play for Loesch to first, safe. For McClellan, it'll be his 11th appearance tomorrow, his 10th start, and his first career start against San Francisco.
Loesch, a very good fielder, good jump, good quick throw, close play. A little disappointed he didn't get his man, but did everything he could do to make that happen. Very important for pitcher to be able to field his position. Shashin, Dan, I meant to mention this earlier, has had 3 errors on the other side. Loesch, an errorless season. And that can make a difference between a win and a loss here and there.
Here's Spilborghs. Looks at a strike. Grounded out to Pujols, his first time up. (4-1) St. Louis. Spilborghs is swing and a miss, and there's that fastball that you talk about on our gun, 88, but yet he blew it right by him.
Respecting the changeup and the slider from Loesch, and then the fastball just very difficult to catch up to. Late movement. 31 strikes, just 9 balls out of 40 pitches.
You think about the surprise of Arizona here in the West, only half game out back of San Francisco. How about the American League West? Seattle now just a half game back after going 9-1 in their last 10. Did go, and that's a strikeout. Spilborghs.
I don't think he's going to go. I think he's going to just stay there. Make me go. Don't like the call, just ask for a do-over or something.
4th strikeout for Loesch.
Let's see if Mr. Spilborghs was right. Out of the strike zone. Oh boy, I don't know. Pretty close.
Here's Iannetta swinging a hot bat. Arguably their hottest bat in this lineup. Doubled and scored back in the 3rd. Six RBIs yesterday, went 4 for 5. 1 ball, 1 strike. One thing about Kyle Loesch, Rick, he's going deep into games, something he has not done really since he came to the Cardinals. A few years ago he was going deep into games, but now he's especially doing that.
And so important for the bullpen, and another point in the favor of the discussion of yesterday about why, my opinion, it would have been better to get Jaime Garcia out of the game earlier, because you've got a guy like Loesch going the next day who you know is going to go deep in the game, or you're reasonably sure will. So you're not going to need 4 or 5 innings out of your bullpen, which is true with other starters, but Loesch has just been so consistent, so durable. You just don't need a lot of outs.
3 balls, 1 strike. Don't start the runner. 3-2. Matter of fact, Loesch in his first 3 seasons with the Cardinals had only 5 total games in which he pitched at least 8 innings. He's matched that entire total already this year. Cardinals certainly were counting on him this season, and he's come through. And that's the first walk issued by Loesch.
Durability of Kyle Loesch. 2008 through 10, 5 times, 8+ innings. Dan, the numbers you're talking about in 2011 already 5 times. Gone 8+ innings. And he's done that in just 10 starts.
The Rockies with only 3 hits so far. And coming into play today, the opponents were hitting under 200 against Loesch. You see 49 pitches. That's another reason you go deep into games. No walks, not many hits.
Yeah, and a lot of people wonder and they ask about, is it pitch count or is it innings pitched? Which is the thing that's really harder on a pitcher? And the answer is it's really both. I mean, there are times where you can pitch 8+ innings and only throw 95 pitches, and you'd say, well, you know, the pitch count's low, so it's not that hard to do. But it is the throwing, sitting down, throwing, sitting down, throwing, sitting down, doing that for 8 innings. There's a durability in that part as well. So innings pitch matter and total pitches. Both of them are important.
2 strikes, 1 and 2.
He's got to bunt again.
Runners at first and second, 4-1 St. Louis. And a count of 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You let him swing, it might be worse. Might hit into a double play.
He is swinging, and Loesch will go to second. Wide throw out there, no chance at first. Runners at first and third with 2 down.
Rockies catch a break because that's exactly what he should have done, is hit into a double play. Kyle Loesch throw just a bit offline, otherwise they'd have had it. It's the risk you take letting your pitcher swing it back with runners on base.
And we're talking about this schedule for the Redbirds. They will be done with the West, traveling out west after the ball game today. So here is Eric Young as an RBI, a sac fly to left to score Iannetta back in the third. Isn't that hard to believe? LA, San Diego, Arizona, Colorado, all done. Oh, 1 pitch, curveball in there. Catches the outside corner. Young didn't like that call. And he struck him out. Loesch with 2 in the inning, 5 this afternoon. Rockies strand a pair. Berkman due up first when we come back. This date in baseball history, back in 1950, the St. Louis Browns team psychologist resigns due to lack of player cooperation. Schnooks, this date in baseball history.
Where'd we dig that one up? Hey, I've been on 2 teams where that's happened.
Really?
Oh, yeah, that's not unusual. That's happened probably 50 times in the game of baseball.
And of course, we don't forget what this day is all about, enjoying our freedom, and those that have served or currently are serving. Memorial Day weekend. That was just moments ago, that flyover. Nice round of applause. Lance Berkman leads it off for St. Louis. And Berkman pops one foul. Lance, pair of walks today. Talked about San Francisco coming to town tomorrow without Buster Posey. He had surgery this morning on his ankle. Those torn ligaments. Looks like he's done for the year. 0-2 on Berkman.
Certainly opens up a need for the Giants. They'll probably try to get somebody that could fill that role in a bigger way than their backup catcher would. But we talked about them being a team that's offensively challenged from time to time anyway, and that's just a big void, not just his catching, but really he's such an offensive threat. That's really one of your big guns for the defending champions. They will make a move at some point.
A lot of talk that one of the Molinas could wind up being brought back to San Francisco.
Heard Pudge Rodriguez's name as well in that mix.
And Berkman, a swing and a miss. Good block by Iannetta. The strikeout. Wide throw, but Dalton stays on the bag. That's now 6 strikeouts. Check that, 7 strikeouts for Shashin. And it brings in Alan Craig, who was called out on strikes back in the first and grounded into a double play in the third. If that injury does not happen to Buster Posey, you wonder how much it's even being talked about around Major League Baseball. And no disrespect to other guys that are in the major leagues playing that position, but as you mentioned, he's a superstar already at a young age, playing on a world championship team, defending champs. If it's a backup catcher, are we talking about this?
Probably not.
And there's Craig with a base hit.
Well, everybody has their own agenda, Dan, and if you think about baseball in general, they're thinking about who are our golden geese. And Buster Posey is certainly one of them, a great young talent, and they want to see him playing.
Get online tomorrow afternoon. Follow the game through Game Connect on FoxSportsMidwest.com, presented by Jack in the Box. It's a true second screen experience where you can follow stat trends for players, interact via Twitter, and keep up with the game action in real time. It's presented by Jack in the Box, and find it tomorrow at FoxSportsMidwest.com. Tyler Green will be the pinch runner for Alan Craig, and here is Colby Rasmus. Colby with a base hit, a single in the first, and a home run to right field back in the fourth. Seeing this a bunch now where Craig starts the game, Green will finish.
And you know, Alan Craig's making it maybe less of a obvious decision the more he's getting used to playing defensively. He handled a couple of chances today. He really hasn't done a bad job defensively. You don't think of him as a good defensive player, but he's yet to make an error, and he's played all over the place. Ball's not finding him. He's catching the ones he's supposed to catch, and so I'm just not sure it's always such a cut and dried decision to take Alan Craig out of a game, especially if he's hitting as well as he's hitting, over 300.
See if they want to run with Tyler Green. 1 ball and no strikes. And again, a high drive into deep right. Will it stay fair? That ball is foul. Didn't miss it by much. 1 ball, 1 strike on Colby.
Not sure he caught this ball cleanly, but he certainly got enough of it. Ball just kept hooking down that right field line. 350 down the line here. One of the more lengthy distances down the line you're going to find in baseball, but again, the ball carries well in the altitude.
The 1-1. 2 strikes with Molina on deck. Yeah, it's 415 to dead center down the left field line, 347. We've talked about it with either Dexter Fowler or Eric Young Jr. playing out there in center. Look at all that space that you have to cover. The 1-2. Slowly hit to first, and Helton will tag out Rasmus.
And that space you're talking about in the outfield is one of the reasons they're actually talking about moving the fences in at one point here in Colorado.
Alan Craig safe at second, or check that. Tyler Green safe at second. Safe and secure, New York Life. Here's Molina, who's 1 for 2. RBI single in the first, and he's also grounded out to short. With the humidor now in play, you could see where they might make an adjustment with the walls and maybe tightening it up just a bit. The humidor has made a major difference. Runs per game at this ballpark. When you actually have a guy that says, yeah, I'd like to come back and pitch at Coors Field like De La Rosa, who was supposed to start today and is hurt, that says something.
It's still a hitter's ballpark, but it's just a little bit more normal now.
One ball, 1 strike. They're in the ninth. Milwaukee leading 6-0 over San Francisco. Houston over to Arizona 2-1. Mets already have beaten the Phillies 9-5. San Diego and Washington tied up at 4. Chicago and Pittsburgh have been delayed at Wrigley Field. Atlanta and Houston coming up tonight. 1-2 the count.
It's the first time I've been able to say this in a number of years, but I'm not so sure the Pittsburgh Pirates aren't a better team than Chicago Cubs. We may see them under Clint Hurdle. I mean, they've got a chance to finish at 500 for the first time in many, many years.
Talking with people around here, they feel that for Clint Hurdle, that is the perfect situation for him and vice versa. Very similar to what he inherited when he got to Colorado.
Well, he has some similarities with Jim Tracy. They're both very positive guys. Visiting with Jim Tracy before the game today, he's one of my favorite managers in baseball. 108 pitches now for Shashin. Tracy has 3 sons, all of who've played baseball. His middle son, AAA with the Texas Rangers, but just a delightful guy to be around. And I feel like the positive nature of both Clint Hurdle and Jim Tracy work for clubs that are trying to rebuild and trying to figure themselves out. I think they're good salesmen. That's part of it.
Yeah. A 2-2 pitch with 2 outs. Runner at second. Molina pulls it foul past Jose Oquendo. Pre and post humidor. It's not in the heat. Coors Field before and after the humidor.
Home runs are down, both for the Rockies.
You see the runs per game down by nearly 3. A 2-2 pitch to Yadier Molina. And Molina hits it off the end of the bat. Fly ball into shallow left. Gonzalez under it to make the catch. The Cardinals strand a runner. Fowler, Gonzalez, Tulowitzki coming up. Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Right now you can get the new bourbon barbecue steak grilled sandwich at participating restaurants. And by Kia. Bottom of 6 rolls in here at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. Wherever you may be, we hope you're having a very safe and happy Memorial Day weekend. Dexter Fowler is 0 for 2. Kyle Loesch has struck out 5 today. He's allowed only 3 base hits. 1 walk. The Cardinals picked up 3 in the first and another in the 4th. He is pumping strikes, nothing in 2. One ball and 2 strikes, or rather no balls and 2 strikes here on Fowler. Looking at the matchups for this upcoming week: McClellan, Bumgarner, Carpenter, Vogelsong, Westbrook and Lincecum, Garcia and Sanchez. That'll be on Thursday.
Pretty good pitchers in that.
Yeah, the exception of game 1, every game at night. Should note tomorrow at 3:15 Tuesday is just after 6 o'clock with that start on Tuesday night. Well, if you're a baseball fan, you enjoy, at least in my mind, watching the quirky delivery and the hard thrower Tim Lincecum. Still fun to watch. Do you agree?
No doubt about it. I mean, he is a guy that gets so much out of not a very big body. I mean, it's just incredible what he can do to throw the ball as hard as he does.
Second of 5 Ice Mountain autograph nights is Wednesday. Cardinals take on the Giants. Meet your favorite Cardinal players and alumni. Cardinals.com/promotions to find out more. Again, all 4 games. $9 terrace level seats. Bleachers for $18. And that's a strike to Carlos Gonzalez, who is 0 for 2. He's flied to center and also grounded out to Albert Pujols. Gonzalez not quite right when he won a batting championship a year ago. Now hitting under 260 this season. Silver Slugger last year, Gold Glove in left field. Still, you look at the numbers, 8 home runs, he's driven in 33.
The game definitely humbles you. If you play it long enough, you're going to have stretches where it's not that easy. Kyle Loesch is at the other end of the spectrum right now. His confidence probably couldn't be any higher than it is right now.
The 2-1.
You can almost see it in the mound presence of Kyle Loesch, as you can see it in a hitter who's searching. You know, they'll foul one off and they'll give you that look like, what did I do? I missed it. What am I doing wrong? They're looking at their feet, their stance. They're just kind of not sure about themselves. But Loesch is the opposite. He just can't wait to throw that next pitch.
Great changeup that time. 6 strikeouts for Loesch.
Pulls the string on it. You see the 3 fingers on the ball to take the speed off. Good arm action, but the ball about 8 to 10 miles an hour slower. You know, thinking about the repertoire of Kyle Loesch, one of the things you like is that he's got 3 pitches at 3 different speeds. You're going to throw the fastball at 90, 91. You're going to throw the slider at 86, 87, the changeup at about 82, 83. So you've got 3 different speeds a hitter has to adjust to and has to try to time.
To the Witzke, sharply to third. Descalso stays with it. That's what you were talking about before. The defense that he has provided. That was a rocket to third. It's 4-1 as we head to the 7th. Let's turn to our AT&T trivia question. Which team did Bob Apodaca record his first career win against? Four to 2 over Bob Gibson back in 1974, and he said the most proud moment of that ball game, a base hit off of Bob Gibson.
That's something you'll never forget. Very well respected pitching coach. Has the right demeanor, high knowledge, and a new pitcher for the Rockies here as we go to the 7th.
Lefty to face Descalso. Here's Matt Reynolds, left-handed pitcher, and our Chevy called to the pen.
Only left-hander in the bullpen.
Shashin, the starter for the Rockies, as you get a look at the numbers for Reynolds. Struck out 7 today. He allowed 6 base hits, 4 runs, and a pair of homers. Descalso with a high fly ball into center field. And there's one away.
We're talking about Bob Apodaca. You know, there are times where you're going to have a good staff, and there are times where you're going to have a bad staff, and your job is going to be to nurse the guys through the rough times, and the Rockies certainly have had those. And then when you've got pitchers that are elite pitchers, you've got to know how to help them too. And one of his main jobs right now, frankly, is Ubaldo Jimenez. How do I get him right? I mean, you can have everybody else get to their level, but his level's so high, and he's clearly not there yet. Cardinals beat up on him on Friday. I know he's getting some sleepless nights trying to figure out how to get Jimenez back.
You know, he was 15-1 with a no-hitter under his belt last year before the All-Star break. Think about that, 15-1. People were talking about, we just saw Bob Gibson, the trivia question. People were talking about that first half of the season. He's putting up a Gibson type season with the ERA where it was.
Lower the mound some more, maybe?
You talked about it. It's a humbling game, huh?
Has a baseball in his hand right now, trying to get it to feel right.
And a swing and a miss. So Reynolds gets the strikeout, 2 away.
That's a great shot of Jimenez. You know, he's just watching a big league game right now. You'd think, okay, he's got no chance of being in this game. But, you know, he's still thinking clearly thinking about his own mechanics. There's the fastball by Loesch.
I would think that would be the tough part of being a starter, and Rick, you did both. But when you're a starter and you just can't quite figure things out, and you're saying to yourself, what is going on? And then all you do is just sit there and think about it
for 4 days. And when you have a bad start, you're not in long enough to get all your energy out and all your physical exertion out. So, you know, one of the things you got to do every once in a while is just go out for a long run or do a hard workout just to kind of clear your psyche, as physically, emotionally, mentally, always. Yet you sit there to watch the game and you realize, okay, I'm still 0-4, I'm still 0-5, and my ERA is what it is, and you know, I've got to get back on track here. And you can't help, you're just wearing that number. You're wearing your record constantly. Every place you go.
David Ortiz with a home run for the Red Sox, and then they win it in extra innings over Detroit. Remember, they started out 2-10. Since then, they've gone 28-12. There's a grounder hit to short to Nowitzki. Bam! At the chest of Todd Helton. Time to stretch, and it's 4-1 St. Louis.
Great job with our military folks at the ballpark here. God bless America. They did a great job. A nice salute here. Cardinals leading Colorado 4-1. And we're going to take a look at our Car Soup email question. And it is for me. Hey, Rick, what Cardinal team had the best clubhouse chemistry in your career? Looking back, Steve from Portland, Oregon. Thanks for the question. Looking back, you'd have to say the '85 Cardinal team had the best chemistry that I was ever a part of. This Cardinal club this year noted for having the same kind of chemistry. Rough start for this team. They had a rough time on the West Coast, but figured it out and have come together and played great baseball on the road and now at home as well. And they're continuing on this road trip to play good baseball, winning 2 out of 3 in Kansas City, then 2 out of 3 in San Diego. And on this Memorial Day weekend, they have a chance to take 2 out of 3 from Colorado, winning 4-1 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. It'll be Helton, Wigginton, and Spilborghs in the bottom of the 7th.
Mother Nature has cooperated as well. What a great day this has been. With threats of rain last weekend in Kansas City, didn't happen.
I did see a cloud in San Diego.
Did see one cloud in San Diego, but we were okay there. A little cool and rainy late in the ball game last night, but we got it in, no problems. And then today, just gorgeous. 1 ball, 1 strike on Todd Helton. What do you think, Rick? Hall of Famer in your mind? He's 0 for 2 today.
Yeah, I would say so. I think his numbers dictate that. I think at some point you try to get the Hall of Fame representative of all the teams in baseball too. Anybody's got a Burger Shack named after him ought to be in the Hall of Fame, don't you think?
Sure. Adds to that resume. In the air out to deep right center. This will carry, and it's off the base of the wall as Rasmus watched it. He thought it was gone, I'm sure, and it stayed in the ballpark. He might have been able to make a play on that.
I'm not sure what Colby Rasmus was doing. He would have had to go a long way to get this, but did not get a jump at all, as if maybe he's thinking, I'm just going to play it off the wall because I know I can't catch it, but this ball hits low on the wall. Very odd effort from Colby Rasmus. I'm not sure he read that very well off the bat. Either way, you got to go get it, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's off the wall or not.
And you hope that doesn't come back to haunt the Cardinals here. Initially, and just watching him, and sometimes when you call a game, it's tough to follow the flight of the ball and where it may go. So you watch the outfielders, and in watching Colby Rasmus, I'm sure you did too, you'd have thought that was 20 rows deep.
Absolutely.
Now, if you're Loesch, you got to pick up your teammate.
And you have to control your emotions about it as well. It's not only doing the job of getting the next hitter out, the next couple of hitters out, but it's not being angry about it while you do it. I mean, he's a human being. You're going to get frustrated. And there are times where guys make errors behind you, and you tell Little League players, you say, look, they're going to make great plays too, so you got to pick each other up. Don't let that bother you. But you're also human, and you have to find a way to control that very real feeling that you have.
The 2-1 pitch doesn't get him to chase, and it's 3-1. Center field. That ball will get down. Here comes Helton. He'll score, and it cuts the lead to 4-2. Ty Wigginton is 3 for 3 off of Kyle Loesch today.
Pitch down in the strike zone. Pretty good location there. And that's going to score Todd Helton.
Well, we have this time right now with a visit. Our buddy Chad Blair, the Cardinals video coach. He and his wife are part of a great event, 3rd annual Support Our Troops event, which is tomorrow at Francis Park in South City from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Support your troops. Thank your veterans this Memorial Day at Francis Park. To stop on by. There'll be live entertainment and food. 100% of all donations will be given to the USO of Missouri and St. Louis VA Medical Center. And if you'd like to find out more, go to their Facebook page. Donate directly to the USO of Missouri. Find them at Facebook at Support Our Troops STL. Support Our Troops STL. But again, that's tomorrow at Francis Park in South St. Louis. 10 a.m. to 3. Spilborg's in the hole, 0-2. He's 0 for 2 today. Ooh, he just missed.
Colby Rasmus has done some great things, including homering today, but the jump he gets on this, very kind of nonchalantly going after this ball, and it actually drops almost in the warning track, the base of the wall. It's a long way out there, 415 feet or so to the base of the wall in right center field, and ball hung up enough that Rasmus might have had a chance to catch that ball.
2-2 pitch. Over Terrio and out to left for a base hit. First 3 have reached, and you wonder if that'll get the bullpen up and going.
Sanchez has been throwing. The question might be right now from Dave Duncan to the bullpen is he ready? There's a slider, gets a little bit too much of the plate. Wigginton hit a good pitch, that one not so good. And things have come unraveled here for Loesch in the 7th inning.
Pitch count only at 81. And Tony La Russa has motioned to the bullpen. This will be it for Kyle Loesch. 81 pitches this afternoon. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. So Sanchez, who we saw on Friday night, comes into the ball game in relief of Kyle Loesch. Let's go back, and it's our Chevy call to the bullpen. Rick, that play that was not made by Rasmus as he went back. As we've talked about, it is a very spacious ballpark. Not sure that he even makes that catch. Also, right. If the ball comes off the wall and takes a odd ricochet, you're talking about a triple. But still, going back on it, just looked like either he didn't see it, didn't have a good jump, or thought that was clearly going to be a home run.
Well, I think early in the season, Rasmus twice got too close to the wall. The ball hit off the wall and then bounced past him. So I think he's got that in the back of his mind. He doesn't want to do that again. He wants to play the ball off the wall. However, where that ball was hit in right center field, you're not going to get that kind of bounce. It's a softer wall there. There's actually a gate back there, and you may play it into a triple by not going to get it in this ballpark. So I still think a little bit more of a direct, sharp line to that would have been a better move for Rasmus, and Cardinals had have a peck of trouble after that. A base hit by Wigginton and then Ryan Spilborghs, and now it's Chris Iannetta who has been wearing out the Cardinals.
Eduardo Sanchez, 1-1, 2.70 ERA, 5 saves, comes in relief. And Iannetta has just been a Cardinal killer here the last couple of days. Double run scored, walk, mentioned the 6 RBIs yesterday. Two balls and no strikes. The risk that you run in bringing Sanchez in this spot, Ricky, is that you have runners on, and at times his control has been an issue.
Well, it's not his best asset, that's for sure, is his control. Now, he can be okay with his control if he gets on a roll, but the 2-0 count, not a stranger to him. Love his arm, though, don't you?
Oh, electric. And we saw the other night he broke off a couple of sliders. One of those I remember to Tulowitzki, that was a knee buckler. And when you see guys like that buckle their knees, you know it's pretty darn good. Time is called. And the reason that I bring that up about Sanchez, and Al and I have talked about this many times, you like him to start fresh in an inning.
Right. Well, you've got to have somebody that can come on with guys on base for situations just like this. In fact, the guy I think that's pretty good at that is the guy that you're using in the 9th inning now.
Just about to say that.
Fernando Salas. He's got ice water in his veins, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. Cardinals would love the double play here. A 2-1 pitch. With the mask of Yadier Molina.
That doesn't really sound that healthy to have ice water in your veins, by the way. Is that a good thing?
Probably not.
Probably not.
But I get the term. I get the expression. You see this, and we've talked about it 1,000 times, but you do think of Mike Matheny, who's part of our pregame show today.
Catching the big leagues for 10 years or more. How many times did that happen? 1,000 times?
Yeah.
Maybe more. That's not counting spring training, B games at 10 o'clock in the morning in spring training, the actual spring training games.
A 2-2 pitch to Chris Iannetta. As that slider didn't offer at it. Eduardo Sanchez with 12 walks in 20 innings of work so far this year.
I still think that's his next level. He's got to throw a strike 2 and 2. He loves strikeouts, and you can see that he is very capable of picking up strikeouts. But you got to do it on the 2-2 count. You can't try to be so nasty with every batter that you're not throwing a strike 2-2. Because you throw a 1-3-2, you hang it, which is what he just did there. Now the 3-2 pitch becomes a lot more of a guided pitch, because you don't want to walk the batter. And sometimes trouble happens when you start guiding a pitch from 60 feet away.
A 3-2. Sanchez can't believe that. Molina held it there. You don't see Yachty do that very often. Just hold it there. And now they're on their feet. The rookie against the veteran. Jason Giambi.
One for 10 as a pinch hitter, 5 strikeouts. Power against power here. Fans still on their feet.
It was on the 19th of May. He had his first ever 3 home run game. That's hard to believe. You'd think he might have more than that. When he did that, he was the second oldest player in the history of baseball to hit 3 home runs in one game. The oldest, Stan the Man. One ball, 1 strike.
Sanchez, with the lack of command, doesn't get that 3-2 pitch at the knees. If he'd established that he was throwing down there and knew what he was doing, maybe he gets that pitch that was borderline. Strike zone is right at the hollow, just under your kneecap. That's supposed to be a strike. That's where that pitch was.
Two strikes on Giambi.
What I do like about Sanchez, Dan, is I don't think fear is the reason he's not throwing strikes. He seems to be a pretty courageous young pitcher. Confident, but maybe trying to do too much when he gets ahead. Finish him off right here. Don't throw more pitches than you have to. Finish him off here.
The 1-2. Giambi check swing and a strikeout. Sanchez gets the strikeout of Jason Giambi. Ooh, is that big?
Well, Sanchez went nasty on him 1 and 2, but Giambi couldn't hold up his swing. Looks like it's going to be a strike right there. Dips down and in. Can't hold the swing back.
Eric Young Jr. Pair of strikeouts today. Got back-to-back switch hitters with he and Fowler at the top of their lineup. Strike 1. Oh, 1 pitch.
Tough guy to double up. Infielders hoping to at least get 1 out. Hits the ball on the ground to Albert or to third. I would expect them to come home.
The 1-1. Liner, double play. Huge double play off the bat of Eric Young. Lines it to second, the flip, and the force. It's 4-2. Next time you want to catch a game, head to StubHub. You'll find the seats you want, the freedom to choose where you'd like to sit. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Cardinals, and we expect a big walk-up crowd tomorrow at 3:15 with our first pitch against the Giants. 4-2 as we move to the top of the 8th. Military Appreciation Day here at the ballpark. Throughout the ball game, we've had dedication to various personnel of the military.
Can't do it enough.
Nope. You said selfless. Lindstrom is into the ball game. I've got a couple of guys that have closed out games for them. Lindstrom in his career has done that, as well as Houston Street, who is among the league leaders in the National League in saves.
Nice having a couple guys out there capable of doing it. Cardinals really in that situation right now with Sanchez and Salas, although both of them not as proven as Lindstrom and Houston Street are. But the results have been good. Sanchez a great job in the bottom of the 7th inning. Did give up a line drive to end that inning. But the big key strikeout of Giambi keeps the score 4-2 Cardinals.
Jay retired. That's one of the biggest double plays the Cardinals have turned all year. Here's Albert Pujols. So you got power against power here. Lindstrom, as we've seen, can really bring it mid to upper 90s when he first came up with Florida back in 2007. Most saves he ever had was with Houston a year ago. He had 23. Pujols has grounded out to third, fly to center, and struck out back in the first. 1 for 8 against his right-hander.
Good start for Kyle Loesch. 6 innings, 2 runs, ERA at 2.13, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts.
There's a nasty slider. Lidstrom was acquired for 2 minor leaguers, a right-handed pitcher and a lefty as well. That slider again.
Really think it's any one way that pitchers are attacking Albert Pujols. You're seeing some fastballs in, but you're also seeing some breaking balls away, which is classic. Everybody gets that.
1-2 pitch. 2-2.
I mean, it's the classic way to pitch. It's kind of pitching 101. Fastball up and in, slider down and away.
Originally signed by the Mets was Lidstrom, 10th round pick of 2002.
Fastball in.
Watch out here. 2-2. Pujols into center, and that's caught. No, it gets by the center fielder. Albert was trotting to first, on his way to second base, and in there safely. I wonder if that knuckled on Fowler out in center.
I think Albert was a little bit like me. I think he thought he saw him catch the ball because the ball hits it right in his glove, and he thought, well, he caught it, but he didn't. Ball's knuckling. Albert put his head down. He caught it. No, he didn't. I better keep going.
Now it's Berkman, and that's a key run out at second base. Berkman today has scored a run, walked twice, and struck out back in the 6th.
If you hit a ball that is knuckling to an outfielder, that means you hit it squarely. So that's the good news from Albert Pujols' point of view.
Yeah, that ball was definitely knuckling. They'll potentially walk Berkman here. Remember, you do have a pretty big bullet in there if you wanted to go with Matt Holliday, who is available to pinch hit. Skip Schumacher could also pinch hit. It's Tyler Green's spot up. Remember, he's in the ball game for Alan Craig. And let's go back to Pujols. This is our Nissan drive of the game.
Squarely on the nose, knuckles, and not handled by the center fielder Dexter Fowler. Albert ends up at second base after assuming that ball was going to be caught. Turned on the Jets and got the second. And he's in scoring position for Skip Schumacher, batting for Tyler Green after Lance Berkman's third walk of the afternoon.
Surprised you don't use Holliday here, because you're going to have to use Schumacher anyway defensively if you're going to pinch hit.
Yeah, I guess you're using two players for one if you do that, and I guess you're saving Holliday as a bullet if you might need him later.
Schumacher hits it fouling out of play. You know, we talked about this earlier. You are asking a lot of Skip. His career is 0 for 3 against this right-hander, but to come in, miss the time that he did, only have 15 bats to get ready for major league pitching again, and now here you are facing a guy throwing close to 100 miles an hour. That's tough to do.
They're not going to show you any sympathy, though.
Nope. Breaks his bat, and Tulowitzki makes the catch. They did call infield fly. Here's Colby Rasmus.
Another good offensive day for Rasmus. Singled in the first inning. Home run in the fourth. Bounced out in the sixth inning. Average continues to rise after he had an 0 for 20 streak. Turned it on Friday. Seeing the ball much better. He tried to go up and in on him last time. We'll see if they go up there again. Again, classic place to pitch a left-hander, up and in.
Off on Lidstrom. He finds it, throws to first, and they get Colby Rasmus. Takes away the base hit and RBI. It's 4-2. Bottom of the 8th rolls in. Cardinals baseball on Fox Sports Midwest is brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Bank of America, where ATM deposits are as easy as an infield fly. No deposit slip, no envelope with Bank of America. Member FDIC. And by AT&T. Baseball today as we wrap up our road trip here in Denver. 4-2 in favor of the Cardinals. Eduardo Sanchez picks up the double play and a strikeout of Giambi last inning to get out of a bases loaded jam. And now he starts this inning clean. It took him 14 pitches to get those 3 outs, and Cal Loesch has a chance to pick up the win today. If the bullpen can get the final 6 outs, he would go to 7-2.
Some big outs to get for Sanchez and perhaps Salas in the 9th inning. 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup means you're going to face Gonzalez and Tulowitzki and ultimately Todd Helton. So there's some tough outs to get here.
Dexter Fowler is 0 for 3.
And we're also not seeing in this inning Brian Tallett or Trevor Miller, although there's a switch hitter and 2 lefties among the next 4 hitters. Shows me the confidence is a little higher right now in Sanchez than it is in the left-hander.
Tallett has pitched in back-to-back games. That first game, though, was only 5 pitches. Went 3-2, and then he left with elbow discomfort, but then pitched in the game yesterday. Did allow a home run. 2 balls, 1 strike. If the Cardinals hold on for Cal Loesch, you go to 7-2, and he would be tied with Correa. Pittsburgh with 7 wins, and Cole Hamels, who has 7 as well for the Phillies. The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball. Pujols. Talk about staying down on a ball. That was staying down on it. On both knees. As part of our Fox Sports Supports charitable initiative, we are proud to wear pins during our 2011 MLB on Fox Sports Midwest season to support Stand Up to Cancer and their work to fund groundbreaking research. standuptocancer.org/Fox Sports. And Rick, the only reason I brought up Holiday in potentially using him in that spot with runners at first and second is that clearly on Friday night when Holiday pinch hit, there's a base hit by Gonzalez. You clearly knew that that was going to be an intentional walk. In this case, you had runners at first and second.
Going to have to pitch to him.
And you have to pitch to him, you would assume. You don't want to load the bases up.
Well, I think it's a reasonable thought to have Holiday bat in that situation. Gonzalez lines it up the middle. Rasmus did the same thing to end the 8th inning, but caught the pitcher, which probably saved a run for Colorado. And still a 4-2 game, which means Tulowitzki's a tying run at the plate. And you never like to say those words unless you're a Rockies fan.
Yeah, Tulowitzki with 11 home runs this year. Only 3 back of the league lead in Jay Bruce of Cincinnati. Held in check today, 0 for 3, pair of ground outs and a pop out. One ball, 1 strike. Tulowitzki in the air, right center. Who wants it? Who wants it? It's Berkman making the catch.
Just glad somebody catches this ball. This could have been a problem. And at some point, that's just a lack of communication. That's all that is. Somebody's got to say something.
Now Todd Helton with 2 outs and a runner at first. Pair of right-handers getting loose for the Rockies. Helton a double last time up. Highest percentage of wins as comebacks, and you see 16 of 25 for the Rockies to lead all of Major League Baseball.
You trying to say something, Dan?
I'm not. Would you be tempted if Sanchez would get out of this inning to throw him one more? Probably unavailable anyway tomorrow. If he extends 2 here today, you never know.
I would be tempted, but I have a lot of confidence in Mr. Salas.
Yeah. One pitch to Todd Helton.
There's also a certain place you go, the pitcher throwing 3 inning, when we'll look at that pitch again. Strike at the knees. There's a place you go where you get to 3 innings where you may be unavailable for 2 days. If you pitch 2 innings, you maybe can just be unavailable for 1 day. And so I think that may come into play with a guy like Sanchez. You want him back as soon as you can get him back.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Double back in the 7th over the head of Colby Rasmus off the wall. But yet the Cardinals and Sanchez able to get out of that jam. The 2-2. Runner goes. It's behind help. Gonzalez will stay at second base. Here's Ty Wigginton. He's 3 for 3 with an RBI single. Runners in scoring position. Neither team all that great today. 1 for 5. The Cardinals Rockies 1 for 6. Second walk that's been issued by Sanchez. Molina out to visit. Will this become a 4-out save situation?
I think we're going to see Fernando Salas. I think that's the only reason Yadi would go out and talk to Sanchez right now, is just to tell him, hey, you did a nice job of getting out of the 7th inning. We're going to see if your buddy can do a nice job of getting out of this inning for you. Yadi's still looking into the dugout. Tony's still looking at Yadi. And he's telling him to step off. He needs some more time. Oh, a little cat and mouse going here. He's going to step off. Take your time. There's the step off. Here comes Tony.
This will be a double switch as well. Pete Kozma grabbed a glove and some sunglasses as well. Kozma coming into the game. We'll tell you about the change when we come back. Fernando Salas comes into the ball game. This will be his 19th appearance, and Ricky has been just terrific this year.
Oh, he's been outstanding. He has really proven himself to have the right kind of demeanor to be a closer. He seems confident. He seems capable. He's throwing strikes. He's throwing hard. He's not a 95 guy, but he has good low strikes. He has a really good changeup. It's a little slider to go with it. In any situation that Tony La Russa has put him in, he hasn't seemed fazed by it. We saw some of that last year out of him in doses, but now he's getting a chance to do it to close out games, and he's taking advantage of it.
You know, the Cardinals gave Sanchez an opportunity to do that. Mitchell Boggs as well. Boggs made a start down to Memphis 2 now, and the most recent one he just went 4 innings. I believe that was yesterday. There's a good pitch. Watch when Salas grabs a baseball. That index finger is on the seam, and it's a little knuckle curve that he throws. Trying to get a feel for it. Wonder how tough it is if he was going to be a pre-humidor pitcher to do that with the seams that tighten up, slick baseball.
Might be different. You're exactly right.
Look at good movement on that pitch.
Well, his breaking ball goes down, and I believe he calls it a slider. Whether it's curveball or slider, it's in between. It doesn't really matter. But most of the guys, when they do that with the knuckle, that's more of a curveball than a slider. But he has short, sharp break to it, and the changeup's been really good. Changeup's been a strikeout pitch for him.
0-2 pitch. Got him. 3 pitches and a strikeout to end the 8th. Keeps it 4-2. Coming up next, Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Al Raboski will be with John Kelly. That's right, John Kelly, the play-by-play voice of the Blues, coming over to help us out with a little baseball coverage, and Hungo will be back in the studio as well. Fernando Salas got the strikeout of Ty Wigginton, and he'll have the bottom of the lineup coming up, looking at the bottom of the 9th. And one of those big guns has already been used. That's Jason Giambi.
One word you want said about you if you are a closer is reliable, and that's what Fernando Salas has been so far. Doesn't have to be perfect, but he's been very reliable, and that was a big strikeout of Wigginton, who had been 3 for 3, as you mentioned, Dan, and he just had a terrible at-bat, just blown away by Salas.
Rafael Betancourt out of Venezuela. Primary setup man in his first full season with the Rockies in 2010. At 72 appearances, 89 strikeouts, and he'll get Yadier Molina. Betancourt this year, 19 strikeouts to only 4 walks and a record of 1-0. Molina, then Daniel Descalso, and Pete Kozma.
If you want the excitement of the bottom of the ninth to be lessened a bit, score another run in the top of the ninth. Make it a little easier on your closer.
One ball, one strike on Yadier Molina. Watch how Betancourt, Rick, after he comes setting at a windup, how he tries to hide the baseball. Deception, such a big part of the game.
Try to hide it as long as you can. Ultimately, you have to show it to the hitter. But the longer you can wait, the harder it is for him to pick up the ball, faster the pitch looks. He really pulls down hard with his front arm, too. That's something that you'll teach pitchers to do to make sure you get your arm on top. If you pull your front arm down, that forces your throwing arm to be on top, which is where you want it. But he does it violently. I mean, he has a tremendous pull down with his glove, which sometimes throws you off track a bit and can lead to control issues. It should be a little smoother than this, but it works for him. Watch that front glove.
94 on the fastball, then a strikeout of Molina.
I guarantee you that's the sound he made.
Sure you're not part of the French Open?
That's it. Sharapova grunting 94-mile-an-hour strike.
Here's Descalso.
Nolan Ryan used to grunt on his changeup on purpose. It was like his way of showing a little more deception. He would grunt and then throw the ball slow, which that didn't seem fair.
No. Back in your day, who do you think the most, how do you want to put this? Who made the guys most uncomfortable in the box?
John Candelaria would have been one of them, because he would yell to you from the mound that he was going to throw at you. Saw him do that a couple of times. And he was just wild enough and just sidearm enough that guys were a little afraid of him, especially left-handers. But Nolan Ryan definitely had some fear hitting against Nolan Ryan.
And that's why I bring him up.
I mean, the ball just got up in such a hurry. Of course, Roger Clemens was like that too. Dwight Gooden threw really hard, but you weren't really afraid to hit against him. His control was pretty good, although I did see him hit Clint Hurdle in the head in New York, and actually saw him all the way into the clubhouse. A couple of guys took him inside. He had blood on his head. The helmet cracked in two. I mean, it was nasty.
Yeah.
Clint didn't know who he was.
Pair of strikeouts.
Those hard throwers, they have the ability, but then they've got to do something with it. You have to be able to master it and control it. They all had good secondary pitches too. Nolan Ryan's curveball was as good as anybody.
Think about Gooden's.
And Gooden's was nasty. They're both in my book, by the way.
That's quite a book.
It's a real short book.
Doesn't matter. You got hits off of those two guys.
It's really a pamphlet, is what it is.
Little loose leaf paper you pull out of your pocket every once in a while.
That's right. have it in my wallet.
Check this out. More than me and more than most. I know that.
Well,
It's, like you said earlier, I mean, you're talking about the elite in the world of what these guys do. 1-0 pitch to Pete Cosmo.
top 750 players on the planet. Didn't always used to be that way, Dan. Sometimes it was the top 750 players in the United States. And there was a time before that it was the top 750 white players.
Sure.
So the game has become much more of a world game.
One ball, one strike on Cosma.
And it's better for it.
Thinking now all the players from Venezuela, the Dominican Republic, Curacao, there's some players that have come from there. The 2-1. Cosma pops it up. Foul territory. And that's put away. Salas back to work. It's 4-2. 82 pitches today for Kyle Lowe. She goes 6 innings, 6 hits. Both runs were earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. And Kyle is our Budweiser player of the game. So Fernando Salas trying to make it a 4-out save here this afternoon. 7 hits aside. And the Redbirds lead 4-2. The Cardinals picked up 3 in the first, 1 in the fourth. And the Rockies picked up their runs in the third and in the seventh.
Another solid outing for Loesch, but another good job by Eduardo Sanchez. He went an inning and 2/3, did walk 2 batters, gave up just 1 hit, but he was able to strand some runners. And then Salas stranded the runners that Sanchez left. Now he's hoping for a 1-2-3-9.
It's Spielborg's, Iannetta, and Betancourt's spot. I'd like to just keep it right there because after that you move to the top of the lineup.
That's right. Jay is way off the line in left field.
Two-part question for you. Did Whitey guard the lines, and is that something that you as a player liked, and in particular as a pitcher?
I didn't mind guarding the lines. Yes, he did guard the lines, but you can guard them too much. Maybe a gift there on that pitch. 2-1. The count. I think you need to guard the lines to where you can still make a diving play. Don't stand right on the line because you cut down your range if you do that. Nothing worse than having a base hit go through the other side because you're out of position. He's come off a few pitches here. Have not seen Salas do that. He's moving towards the first base side and really just pulling off a bit, and that's kind of dropping his arm a bit. The ball sailing inside on the right-hander. Needs to go straight to home plate. Straight to home. Make an adjustment. He did not.
Tying run comes to the plate. Chris Iannetta comes to the plate, coming off one of his best games as a big leaguer yesterday. The 6 RBIs, 4 hits, pair of home runs, 6 RBIs. Off-speed pitch and a strike.
One of the things I love about sports, Dan, bottom of the 9th inning of a game, big crowd here, holiday weekend, and the story's not done yet. Who's the hero going to be? There have been some heroes already, but you don't really know.
Good block by Molina, staying put at first. Spielborgs. That's big there. It sets up potential double play still.
No doubt.
Iannetta right now leading all catchers in the National League in home runs, on base percentage, walks. Who's trying to tie it? 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Fastball middle. Had a little hop to it though.
On 1-2. Got him. Called third strike. Late in the game. He may argue now, but now he's just walking back to the dugout. Let's take a look.
Breaking ball from Salas. Hits that corner low and away. It's a strike, all right. Iannetta didn't like it, but perfect pitch from Salas.
Umpire Vic Carpazza is hearing it in the Rockies dugout. And we'll have a pinch hitter. This is Seth Smith. Had a double and home run against Arizona about a week ago. 5 of his last 7 hits are for extra bases. Pujols playing behind with a lefty at the plate.
Pretty good changeup there. Thought that might be a strike. Trying to get 2 outs with 1 pitch.
The 1-0 pitch. Fly ball down the left field line. Slicing foul and out of play.
Albert is playing behind the runner Spielborgs at first, but he is not letting him just walk down to second base either. Actually, he came up on him before that pitch was thrown and wanted to make sure he stayed close. Really important to keep the double play in order. Albert's behind him, but he's lurking. And you know what Yadier Molina can do.
He's picked off 3 this year. 1-1 pitch. Another nasty changeup that time by Salas.
He really sells that changeup because his arm action is so fast. And when a changeup is good, it's when a pitcher throws it hard, it just doesn't go fast. Wonder if he'll throw him another one here. Fastball in.
The 1-2. Oh. There's some empty seats, and I think it caught those seats over the dugout of the Cardinals.
Everybody's checking everybody else out. They all seem to be okay.
Wow.
But that was scary. That ball could not have been hit harder into those first few rows of seats.
Or later.
Fastball in again. Duck over there again.
Hit out of play. I realize what you're saying, Rick, with Pujols being where he's at. But Spielborgs, who is the runner at first, still should be able to get a secondary lead that's huge, even though you do have Molina back there. But with that big lead, he should be able to steal second, take away that double play potential.
Well, he could. It's just not a given.
And Pujols right now keeps backing up with 2 strikes.
Well, if you're running your Spielborgs, you better be safe. Tying run at the plate.
Got him. Held on to by Molina, and a strikeout, his second here in this inning.
Good fastball, hits his spot up and in. Actually moves away from him a bit. Pounded him in with the fastball. Showed him the good changeup. Salas has a lot of weapons.
It's 3 strikeouts for Fernando Salas. And now it's Eric Young Jr.
Albert asking, how far do you want me back to the Cardinal dugout? He's not going to play very deep anyway because of Young. He's got to be closer to the base so he can get there on the ground ball, because he's got to beat Young there, number one, so you can't play but so deep. And he's a guy that's probably going to just try to slap the ball the other way anyway.
1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Some saves are easier than others. This would be one of the more difficult ones.
The 1-1 pitch. Runner goes. That's a strike. 2-2. Young spinning away from the home plate umpire. Didn't like that call. Up the middle. Young keeps this game alive. Run will score. That makes it 4-3.
The last hope was Eric Young Jr. Now the last hope is Dexter Fowler. Young comes through, base hit up the middle. Now you've got very good speed on the bases, representing the tying run. And how gutsy a move would that be to try to steal a base with Eric Young? I'm not sure you can do that. Dexter Fowler is 0 for 4.
Fowler is hitting .238. Two outs. Pujols will hold it first.
Salas trying for save number 9 in 9 attempts.
Long look, and time is called.
I'd just as soon not see Carlos Gonzalez hit again.
He's on deck.
I wouldn't mind waiting until August 12th, 13th, and 14th to watch Gonzalez and Tulowitzki hit again. Colorado comes for a weekend series in early August. Cardinals trying to win the series here in Colorado, 1 out away.
On the outside corner. Fowler represents the winning run. The tying run is at first. Ball gets in the gap. He very well could score with his great speed. Change up that time, 0-2. So again, the Rockies are down to their final strike.
You repeat the changeup 0-2. Not a good swing at that last one. It's a strikeout pitch for him. Changeup.
Ground ball right side, base hit. (0-2) changeup and a base hit into right.
I'm okay with the pitch selection. The result not good. Too good a pitch in the middle of the plate. Dexter Fowler. It's a ground ball to the right side. Now Dave Duncan out to talk to his young pitcher, Fernando Salas. Okay, just the guy I didn't want to see at the plate is there. Batting champion a year ago.
Cardinals with 2 lefties in their bullpen, but staying with their closer here. And Salas, albeit brief, but his history in the major leagues is that and in the minor leagues, is that he's been able to get lefties out.
Right. Well, he's got a pitch that he can use against lefties. It's the changeup, the one he just gave up a hit on. But if he throws a good one to Fowler, he's out. Just didn't throw him a good pitch. Crowd really into this moment here on this beautiful Sunday in Colorado.
Gonzalez with a base hit back in the 8th. Runners at the corners. Good speed out there. Fowler at first. Young the tying run at third. First pitch to Gonzalez. Little floater. Will someone get there? And it is in and out of the glove of Descalso, who almost came up with a tremendous play.
Great effort by Daniel Descalso. Goes a long way. Reaches out at the last minute. Can't hang on. So the game is prolonged. That close to the game being over. Right on the end of his glove.
The 0-1 pitch. Gonzalez, ground ball to short. Force play at second and out. The Cardinals take 2 of 3 here at Coors Field. Loesch gets the win. The save for Salas, and what a road trip. The 9 games, 10 days for the Cardinals.
Some anxious moments in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning for the Cardinals, but Fernando Salas is able to close it out. Great road trip for the Cardinals. A lot of heroes in each of the games on this trip. Fernando Salas continues to get the job done late. Kyle Loesch picks up the victory, his 7th of the year. Another outstanding performance for him.
John Kelly and Al Raboski are standing by as Kyle Loesch picks up his 7th win. He's now 7-2. John Jay, a 2-run homer early on. Colby added another. Cardinals hold on barely 4-3.
Well, the game is over with a Cardinals series win in Denver, Colorado. Al Rabowski and I are here to break this one down on Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Hungo, a nail-biter in Denver today. Another win, though.
Bottom line is you win, and what a great road series as they take 2 out of 3 at all 3 stops. So 6-3 on the road trip, still have first place, and they come home tomorrow for a good homestand against the world champion Giants and Chicago.
The Cubbies come to town. More from Al coming up. Plus, the Cardinals looking to make it 3 for 3 in series on this 9-game road trip. We'll break down the final game before the Redbirds return home. Plus, after the altitude got to Jaime Garcia last night, Kyle Loesch looks to pitch with a Rocky Mountain high. We'll go inside his start. Plus, we'll take you back to Denver for Cardinal player reaction, and we'll bring you Tony La Russa's post-game thoughts. And Al is going to tell us what we learned this month in Cardinal baseball. Happy 275th birthday to American patriot Patrick Henry. Give me Missouri Lottery, Cardinals Live, or give me death. Good news, Cardinals Live is coming up next.
Welcome to Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live.
A great start for the Cardinals today in Denver in the first inning. John Jay, a home run to make it 2-0 Redbirds. And then in the fourth, Colby Rasmus, he plays long ball. Cards lead at 4-1 en route to a 4-3 win. And hello and welcome inside our Fox Sports Midwest studios in St. Louis for the Sunday matinee edition of Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live. Alongside the Mad Hungarian Al Hrabowski, I'm John Kelly. Well, coming up, we'll break down the rubber game between the Cards and Rockies. Plus, was Kyle Lohse able to reverse some bad history at Coors Field? We'll go inside the numbers, and Al is going to tell us what we learned this month in Cardinal baseball. Before all of that, Hungo, your thoughts on today's victory, another solid game for the Cardinals.
Well, a bounce back from a disaster yesterday. And, of course, when you have a stinker like yesterday, those are easy to bounce back. When you play 162 games, it's the tough ones are the ones that are the 2-1 game, 1-0 games. Those are the ones that have lingering effect. 15-4, you forget about those. Kyle Lohse, as you said, he gets his first win ever at Coors Field. He pitched well enough. And the two young guns out of the bullpen, they stave off the Rockies for another big, big win.
And a reminder, we want you part of the show. We want you to tweet us. You can find us at FS Midwest. Tweet us your Cardinal questions and comments. We'll respond to some of them throughout the afternoon. All right, much more from Al coming up a bit later, but let's get right back to Coors Field. Dan McLaughlin with John Jay.
Well, thank you very much, John Jay. A big afternoon. Let's welcome him in. He's downstairs. And, John, let's start with the two-run homer. What did you see in the first?
Well, Terry started off getting a hit, and then, I just battled my way in the count, just fought off some pitches, and he left me a pitch over the plate that, I was able to get over the fence. So it was a good way to start the game. How
much confidence is this team playing with right now, especially on the road?
Oh, we got a lot of confidence. I mean, I think it's been there since the beginning of the year, even when we were struggling a little bit. We got great team chemistry here, and, we're working hard every day. So, and it's nice to see everyone supports each other. So it's been a lot of fun so far.
Well, for you personally, you've been in left center. You've also been in right. Is there a situation that you prefer right now in the outfield?
As long as I'm, getting at bats and contributing, that's all I care about. I want to be up here helping out the team, and hopefully we can keep on going.
From your perspective, what did Kyle Lohse have today?
Oh, he's been great all year. I mean, last year he dealt with the injury, and this year he's come back. He works hard, and he's pitching. He's doing a great job pitching, keeping guys off balance, and he did a great job getting ahead of guys today and keeping us going there today.
Yeah, final question for you. You've got the young guys in Sanchez and Salas. How much fun is that for you to watch those two go?
Oh, it's great. Those are the guys I came up with. Not Sanchez so much, but especially Salas, and just see Descalso out there, and Craig and Greeny, and all these guys I came up with. It's just great to for everyone to be able to contribute.
John, congratulations. We'll see you on the plane.
Thank you.
All right, that's John Jay, one of the stars today. Let's bring in my partner, Rick, and Salas, obviously big part of this game at the end.
Yeah, pretty exciting to watch him pitch with really the game on the line. He had a number of pitches that were really important that he threw in that ninth inning, but he also had the big out in the eighth inning. Picked up Mr. Sanchez, but when he came into this game, game's on the line. He's got to get this guy who's 3 for 3 already, and he was just nasty on him. 1, 2, 3, sit down, inning over. Ninth inning, not so easy for Fernando Salas, but Sanchez also did a nice job in relief of Kyle Lohse.
We're back at it again tomorrow afternoon, 3:15 with our first pitch, and John and Hungo, let's send it back to you.
All right, Dan, thank you very much. Let's get to the highlights. Top of the first, John Jay up with Ryan Theriot on first. And Jay sits on a fat changeup and crushes it over the right field wall. It's Jay's fourth homer of the year, and it's quickly 2-0 Redbirds.
So important to break out on top, especially a ballpark like this. In the first inning, you thought that this was going to be another high-scoring affair, but, Yachty contributes. He gets the RBI base hit. That made it 3-0 after the first inning, and good to see the Redbirds swinging the bats well.
Yachty's 6th RBI on the road trip, the most on the team.
He's really swung the bat really well since mid-April, but this was nice to see. Kobe Rasmus leading off the 4th inning with his first home run in about 5 weeks, and he powers it up there. That makes it 4-1 Cardinals, and you thought at that point you're going to continue the scoring. Little would you know that that's all the Cardinals would get today.
Still 4-1 on the bottom of the 5th. The Rockies threatening with runners on first and third with 2 outs. But Kyle Lohse blows a fastball by Eric Young for the 3rd out. Lohse grooving through 5. Lohse would cruise through 6, but run into some trouble in the 7th. To the 7th, Ty Wigginton up with Todd Helton on second. Wigginton floats a single to center. Helton comes home to score, and the lead is cut to 4-2. Loesch would not make it through the seventh.
Yeah, 3 straight base hits to lead off the 7th inning for Loesch. He's removed. Bring in Sanchez. And here's the double play. A big strikeout first, then the double play. He escapes that situation where it's actually the bases loaded, nobody out, and no runs scored. Here in the 8th inning, Salas relieves Sanchez. And 1-2-3 carves up Ty Wigginton. Really had a rough at bat to preserve it. Then Salas got into some of his own trouble in the 9th inning. But here he finally gets the force out at second base. They did pick up a run, making a 1-run ball game, but the Cardinals get the victory.
And the final again from Coors Field in Denver, 4-3, as the Cardinals go 6-3 on the road trip. Loesch gets the win, now 7-2. Chacin the loss. Salas with his 9th save of the year. Rasmus again a home run along with John Jay. And the Cardinals win 4-3. So who would have thought, you know, the first 2 games in the series, Al, you see 15 runs scored, 10 runs by the Cardinals Friday night. After the Cardinals scored 4 runs early, you weren't sure if that would be enough, but it was.
Well, there's 2 pitchers that were going pretty well, starters in this ball game. Loesch wins his 7th ball game. Salas is now 9 for 9 in save opportunities. The 2 young right-handed guns have really solidified the bullpen. Wonder if they're both available tomorrow. It's coming back for the day game. Both of them threw a lot of pitches today.
And Sanchez came in the 7th, and he did a very good job.
He did. He went an inning and 2/3. He ran a little bit of trouble, but he saved Loesch, and then Salas saved Sanchez. But let's go pitch for pitch to Jason Giambi. Giambi just has really solidified things. Couple fastballs early, gets it 1-1, then he fouls one net, and then here's the killer slider where he tried to hold up, but he goes around on this, strikes out Giambi, who's really gotten a lot of big hits coming in as pinch hitter. And then a line drive, but it's right at the second baseman. They turn it into an inning-ending double play.
But again, more trouble brewing in the 8th inning for the Rockies. And then Salas comes in.
And he just carves up Ty Wigginton. It was just 3 pitches and really, really made Ty look a little silly with those 3 pitches. Got him to expand the zone, swinging pitches out of the strike zone. He gets the big strikeout, bailing out Sanchez.